Hey guys, Benjamin here at the Pedalhead Show. Today we're going to be discussing more Helix knowledge, tips, and tricks. Today we're going to be discussing how to use the control voltage out on your Helix with a certain analog pedal or any pedal that has an expression input. Today, pedal of choice, we have the DM-2W Wazacraft Boss delay, analog delay. It's a great pedal and it offers us a lot of uses that we can incorporate with the Helix. First off, we have the rate, we have a direct out, and we have our input and output. And we'll discuss how to use this fully with the Helix. All right, so let's get down to the Helix floor, and we'll be showing you how we're going to plug this in and how we're going to set this up with our Helix. Okay, now looking down here at our Helix floor, I got two cables right here and here, coming from send and return of effects loop 2. Okay, we're going to plug one to the input, one to the output. All right, now this is how you can use this pedal stock, run it like this, bring it in the loop. So we'll go here to a patch that has it. Okay, so here's effects loop 2. If we turn this on, we have it in the loop. Now, with the Helix, we can also use the control voltage out. We're going to plug a stereo cable, tip ring sleeve, into the control voltage out of our Helix. Okay. And we're going to take the other end and plug it into our Boss pedal, where it says rate, where normally an expression pedal would go. Something now about Boss pedals, especially with their expression pedals. When you want to use a simple pedal like this with an expression, stereo tip ring sleeve jack, if you plug all the way, it won't work. It won't change any of the parameters, and you'll be stuck on one. You'll be wondering what's going on. Is it the Helix? Is it my pedal? Or is it the cable? No, it's simply due to Boss, because they have it, so you have to buy their particular expression pedal that has, I believe, the tip or ring closer together. So in order to avoid this, we can just simply plug in and leave about an inch out. Okay, so I'll show you how that works down here. So right back again, output into the return, input from the send. Here's our little stereo cable, plugging it in halfway. Okay, maybe plug it out, maybe plug it in fully, and then unplug it just a bit. All right, it's about an inch or a centimeter there out. Also, one last thing I forgot to mention here is the way I like to run any delays, especially if it's a delay going through a buffer, which we all know Boss are known for all their pedals being buffered. I like to keep my signal's integrity, so I use a simple dummy cable. This is a cheap Digitech cable that I just decided to cut off and use as a dummy cable, and I plug that completely into the direct out. Okay, now the only thing that's going to come out of the output is going to be the wet signal, and I'll show you how I route it in HX edit, so that way I can keep one block yet do a parallel effects loop there. All right, let's move over to HX edit, and I'll show you how I incorporate the DM-2W with the control voltage to an expression pedal. Okay, back up here now. Looking at HX edit. All right, as you see here, we have a cool preset with a jazz chorus amp, compressor, and distortion over here. And then we have that effects loop 2. All right, let's turn it on. Oh! Okay, let's turn it on. All right, so as you see, we have send at 0 and return at 0. You can leave this at unity gain if you want to. Every pedal is different. If you do bring up the return, you will realize that there might be a little bit more noise from, if you don't have a isolated power supply or if you're in a bad room. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave this at unity because I think it's just good enough. Now, when you bring up an effects loop, okay, this effects loop block, it gives you the mix of about 100%. Now, on the DM-2W, we are using that dummy cable, all right, into the direct out to make the pedal only send the output of wet signal, to only send the wet signal out of the output, okay? So now if I play, you'll only hear the wet stuff later because it's a delay. See? Right? No main signal. Now, how we can, just use this one block and use it kind of like a parallel effects loop, we can bring down this mix to about, 50 or, let's say 45% for this one. That works pretty good, right? All right. So now, how we're going to be able to use the control voltage with the rate? We're going to bring up the command center here. Okay. Now I already have it up here, but it's going to take it off. So here we have the command center. All right. And for the DM-2W, they say you're supposed to plug in an expression pedal, and that can control the rate. Okay. So we're going to choose an expression pedal here. We choose expression pedal 2. Okay. Command none. Bring that up. Over here on the right, it says none, MIDI CC, or control voltage out. We want control voltage out, okay? And that's going to give us the minimum value of 0 to about 100, okay? Now, we're going to hear what 0 sounds like. So that's the slowest one. We're going to bring it up. We're going to bring the expression pedal up now. Almost like a flanger, right? Now we're going to bring it kind of like in the middle. Cool. All right. Now, what I like about the Helix with this DM-2W, in terms of the rate, when you use the Helix and their delays, they're all set to notes. All right. So you have quarter note, eighth note, dot, eighth note, triplet, all the way through. Okay. But when you have an analog delay that doesn't have a tap tempo, it kind of gets a little frustrating, right? But with the control voltage, we can kind of use that to help us find the certain notation that we want, okay? So I have this one song called Euphoria. It's on some other past demo videos of mine. And that has a really cool quarter note to dotted, eighth note delay sequence going on, all right? So go to a clean setting. Okay. Now, what I can do here is try to match the minimum value of control voltage to, let's say, in this terms, I would use an analog delay, my amp, and then I would have the digital delay. The analog delay would do the quarter note, amp would go through, and then in the effects loop of that amp, I'd have a digital delay doing a dotted eighth, okay? So what I want to do is try to figure out where the quarter note is. Now up here I have the BPM set to 120. You can do that by typing it in on HX Edit, right click, delete 120, enter. There you go. Now I'm going to bring up the digital delay, and I'm actually going to turn that on and change the notation from dotted eighth note to quarter note. Okay. Now I'm going to use the digital delay to reference what a quarter note should be and where to set the minimum value of the control voltage for the DM-2W, okay? So let's turn off the effects loop. Let's hear what the quarter note delay should sound like at 120. Okay. Pretty simple, okay? Now we're going to bring up the command center. We're going to hear the difference now between the digital and the analog delay in terms of where they're at right now. Quite a bit slower, okay? So we're going to bring the control voltage up here on command center. Let's put it at like, 10 notches at a time. Let's try that, okay? Oh, and when you're changing the control voltage here, make sure you just bring the treadle on the expression pedal back a little bit to reset it so it knows like, hey, we're going to reset the bottom, or at least that's what it tells the pedal. It's somewhere in the mix. All right, that's the analog. All right, the digital's telling us we have to be a little bit faster. Let's change that control voltage back to, let's say, 10 at a time. So let's go up to 20. Okay, so as we just heard, the digital was faster, so therefore move it up. Come on, Ben. Tell us what's going on. All right, okay. So next we have, let's bring it up another 10. It's about 30. Here's our reference of the digital. Here's our analog. Okay, it's close. Let's bring it up to, let's say, just a smidge, 31, 32. Change the treadle. Remember to do that, right? That's the analog. Digital. I think we're right on the money. Let's try to put them together at the same time and see if we can hear any distinctions, like any differences between the two. That's pretty on par. Okay, with both of those on. All right, now let's go back and change that vintage digital delay to its regular dotted eighth note. All right, make room for euphoria. All right, here we go. So as you just heard, that little warbling sound was me changing the rate and then bringing it back down to the heel position, which we knew was around 32 of control voltage and matched up with the quarter note perfectly at the BPM of 120. Okay, so if that makes sense. That's pretty cool. So that's why I like the DM-2W, because when you do change the rate, it does have that crazy, bucket brigade warbling pitch craziness to it. But I also love the DM-2W for this reason, okay? Right now I have the intensity set around 10 o'clock, and we're going to bring that up to about 2, okay? About 2, all right? Now, in the whole grand scheme of things, it's more like, 6 out of 10, okay? But when you look at the knob, 2, okay? Now we're going to play a little bit and change the, the rate, and we're going to hear how that sounds. For this sound example, we're just going to hear just the analog delay. No digital dotted eighth, okay? me there's another analog pedal on the market that can do that, hey? Cool. So if you have the Helix and you want a nice analog delay, it's kind of neck and neck between a carbon copy and a DM-2W. But as we saw, with the Helix control voltage, effect send and return, and the dummy cable, we're able to use the DM-2W with keeping all of our signals integrity. Okay, so there's, sure, it's going through a buffer, but with the percentage of the amount of wet stuff coming into the dry stuff, we're still keeping that dry, quiet, noiseless integrity of the Helix's signal, and we're only using the beauty of the effect. All right, guys, I hope you learned a lot today on regards to how to use the control voltage with your Helix, with the an analog delay or any Boss pedal. Remember to keep about a centimeter a distance in that stereo cable going into the rate or the expression input with a Boss pedal, and you should be able to use the control voltage. And as you see here, that this self-oscillating note changing, pitch changing feature of the DM-2W is my personal favorite. When you have the Helix, you don't really need any more pedals. But this wouldn't be the Pedalhead show if we didn't do any more videos with any other pedals. So thank God for more pedals, right, guys? All right. So in the description below, if you have a Helix and you're using the control voltage or an effects loop with any expression, or any pedal, effect or whatever, leave it down there. Let me know what you guys are using out there. And yeah, have any questions, write that in the comments as well. Or any suggestions for any other pedals I should try. Thank you so much for watching. I've been B. Gruds here at the Pedalhead Show. Take care and stay safe.